have been making it safe since it was announced are here today. As a part of that, they've had a tremendous number of expenses leading up to this experience that we're all going to be having next week. And unfortunately, it's, in my opinion and Representative Franklin's opinion, it's a little more than they alone should be shouldering. Over 2/3 of the economic development of the NFL draft next week is going to be felt outside of Brown County. And that's why 2/3 of the public safety expenses we are looking to have the state cover. So you'll see that $1.25 million is roughly 2/3 of those expenses. And Representative Franklin and myself are going to be looking to have the state cover that. The overall economic impact of the draft is expected to be nearly $100 million. What that means is the state will be generating roughly $5 million in profit off of this 1 week, next week. And so having a portion of those profits that the state will be generating off of this incredible once-in-a-lifetime experience, we believe is appropriate to have covered by the state. So the state of Wisconsin, as many of you know, has a surplus of over $4 billion. $3 billion of that's one-time money, and that will initially be covered. The 1.25 will be covered by that surplus. However, again, the state of Wisconsin will be generating somewhere in the magnitude of $4.5 to $5 million just in sales tax. And so the covering this 1.25 as well as the $2 million that was put into this effort last session, we think is a reasonable, cost-effective, appropriate expense. Again, keeping our community and its visitors safe is our top priority, as is indicated by the individuals who are with me here today. And so we're going to be showing that and ensuring that by having the expenses covered through the state of Wisconsin. So at this time, I'd like to turn over to my co-author and colleague who's been working with me to put this together, Representative Ben Franklin.
Thank you, Representative Stephan. My name is Representative Benjamin Franklin. I represent the 88th Assembly District here in the state of Wisconsin. I'd like to also publicly acknowledge our law enforcement officers and the good work that they do. I'm happy to stand beside them in the great work that they do. So, as my colleague said, Representative Stephan, approximately 2/3 of the economic impact that we are expecting is coming from people outside of the state of Wisconsin. Roughly $5 million worth of tax revenue that we're expecting to receive from at the state level. So the total cost, like he said, is $1.25 million that we're looking to ensure that we are putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, to back our boys in blue. Additionally, I'd like to just quickly say that next week, Green Bay is in a great situation, the Green Bay area, northeast Wisconsin, that we are on a microscope on the world stage. And it's really an opportunity for us to showcase what we're all about. The Packers organization, of course, does that on a consistent basis, but this event is primarily ran by the NFL, as far as I understand it correctly. But this is one of the best places in the entire country to live, to work, to invest in, and I think that it's really important that we show that to the world next week, and we have a great opportunity to do that, but it starts with what I think is a critical function as a state legislator, which is to make sure that we are properly investing in our law enforcement officers and the protection and safety of our community. At this time, I'll turn it over to Sheriff Delane.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank both of our representatives for authorizing and drafting this bill to allow for funding to come back to Brown County to offset public safety expenses. Our ultimate goal from public safety is to have this event go off without any issues, and we're committed to doing that. And we have been committed to this endeavor for many, many months, and certainly there has been significant expenses already tied to this event, and they will continue until we get through it. And any support that we can get from the state of Wisconsin is greatly appreciated. Again, as you heard, a significant amount of the benefit is felt throughout the entire state of Wisconsin and certainly here in northeast Wisconsin, and I think it is appropriate that the state of Wisconsin help out public safety in this area so that we're not burdening all the costs ourselves. So again, I'm appreciative to our representatives for bringing this forward to assist us in, getting reimbursed for our expenses. Again, nothing changes on our end. Safety is our priority, but we know that any expense that we have ultimately is impactful to us throughout the entire year. So to be able to get reimbursed on this will certainly be beneficial to us long term in our normal budget. So again, thanks to our representatives for bringing this forward. We're appreciative of their efforts, and I would encourage all of our representatives throughout the state of Wisconsin to be supportive of this because it does put the entire state of Wisconsin in the spotlight. And again, we're committed to having a very smooth event here, and we're hoping that the state of Wisconsin will also help us out. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Knott.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Knott. I'm the Fire Chief of the Green Bay Metro Fire Department. Thank you for being here, and also thank you to our representatives for making this possible. This is I don't have to say it again, but this is a huge event and something we're very proud of to being brought to our community. We're excited about the opportunity to showcase what makes Green Bay such a special place. These 3 days will be just incredible. I mean, if you look at the schedule of events that's happening, we're very excited to be a small part of this. Our planning efforts started in August of 2023. So that's when we started. That's when that announcement was made, August 14th, that Green Bay was in fact going to be the host of the 2025 draft. So since that point, we've worked really closely with our community partners, all of our partners, and all the state, regional, and national level partners to make sure we have a safe and effective incident or effective event. This is something that, like I said, our personnel have been working very diligently on to plan for all kinds of scenarios. It's something that we've discussed every single scenario and developed plans and response measures to deal with anything that should present itself. But most importantly, we've stressed to our people is to share what we're all about. Our community is very focused on community and being part of something larger than what one person is. So be sure to highlight what the events that we have, what our community brings, what makes us unique, and like I said, we're very, very excited for it. As part of that planning efforts, though, it doesn't go by itself. We've incurred a lot of expenses to date. We expect those expenses to continue as this draft prep goes, and then also post-draft. So our personnel have been on site since the first shipment arrived of equipment. They'll continue to be so till that last shipment leaves. So we play a very large role in the development of this draft footprint. We're very excited to be here, and like I said, this funding and appreciate to our representatives for making this possible. This will really go a long way to help us. So thank you very much.
No, that's just you. You're on.
Thank you. Mary Kardusky, President of the Village of Ashwaubenon. I would like to thank Representative Steffen and Representative Franklin for putting forth this initiative to get us some money from the state. I spoke about this event 2 weeks ago, I believe, at the Joint Finance Committee down in Kaukauna. This is truly a state event. It is not just a Brown County, Green Bay, or Ashwaubenon event. It truly, truly is a state event. And if you knew that there are over 160 buses of residents from all around the state coming, you would know that this truly is a state event. So I'm just really appreciative because this is a huge lift. It is a huge lift for our city, and there are people out there that say they don't think that we can do this because we're too small, and I disagree because we have the combination of the county, Ashwaubenon, the city of Green Bay, and we're all working together. I can't even tell you how many hours these people standing here with me have spent in meetings to keep people safe. So that's the main thing, is to keep everybody safe. and have a good time and showcase the whole Brown County area. So thank you very much.
Representative Stefan, Representative Franklin, thank you very much for the opportunity for the county to be recognized in terms of our investment. Our investment really didn't just start here with the public safety, and I'll talk about that in a second. I want to give some credit to the Village of Ashwaubenon and the City of Green Bay and Brown County. Really wouldn't be talking about the NFIT draft if it wasn't for the county, the city, and the village coming together and agreeing on the room tax to help build the Rush Expo, which is a very critical aspect to the NFL draft. And when you think about government, whether it's state or if it's the feds or the local, we oftentimes build infrastructure to help accommodate large functions and large events. It's not a surprise that we are, as a community, while we are small, we are able to put together and host big events. And this one is just a little bit bigger than what we've done in the past, but I have all the confidence that with the City of Green Bay, the Sheriff's Office, the Village of Ashwaubenon, that we put together our best foot in terms of putting this together. It's also to be noted that the state of Wisconsin DOT is participating. We have a lot of other agencies that are coming together. Brown County specifically, when we look at about the estimated about $650,000 that Brown County will be contributing just on the public safety standpoint, whether it's our emergency department, our 911, our highway, saw the highway doing some cleanup on the way here. Of course, the Sheriff's Office, which is the largest portion. We are prepared to participate and make sure that this event goes over as smoothly and enjoyable for all those people coming in. And that really is why we're here today standing. It is a state of Wisconsin impact. It is not just Brown County. Outagamie, whether it's Outagamie to Kewanee, Dorr, Shawano, they're all going to have people who are driving or staying in their communities, and they'll be benefiting from it. Now, Brown County historically has been humble in terms of asking the state for dollars to help build the stadium, but this is one of those times where I think the statewide impact and why the legislation makes so much sense to help cover those expenses for the first responders, the public safety, the individuals who are going to make sure that all those people who are coming to visit us are able to be safe. And of course, that's our effort to make sure that we're putting on and showcasing why this is such a great place to want to live, work, and play, similar to what Chief Mott referenced. So with that, thank you very much for bringing forth this legislation and supporting first responders and local municipalities' investment in making sure that the NFL draft goes over extremely smooth. Thank you.
Chief Rowland, you want to?
I'm good.
You're good?
Thank you, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any comments, questions? folks?
David, can you talk a little bit about this money here? I know that the governor already proposed some money to cover these expenses in his budget. Is this in addition to that, or is this to go alongside it, or is this more or less than what he proposed? Can you address that aspect?
So the governor in his proposed budget had $1 million exclusively for the city of Green Bay. And appreciate the attention that provided to this real expense. However, that does not encompass all the expenses and also did not provide a realistic mechanism for us to justify to the people. You have to remember that Representative Franklin and I, in addition to what we're doing here today, we have to sell this to 130 other legislators and a governor down in Madison. And so we took a look at it from more of a percent perspective that the state of Wisconsin is a recipient of 2/3 of the economic benefit of this, and therefore 2/3 of the expense in total should be covered by the state. So the governor was focused only on Green Bay. We felt it was incredibly important and necessary to include Brown County and the village of Ashwaubenon in this. I want to take a step back and just be aware of how David and Goliath this type of situation is. The other communities that are have hosted a draft in the past are somewhere in the magnitude of 20 to 40 times the size of our community. And yet we're going to pull this off, and we're going to make sure it's incredibly safe and a successful event for our visitors. But to have a community like the Village of Ashwaubenon, what, 15,000 people? 17,000 people, to be a primary at ground zero for hosting this event, for them to be able to pull this off is nothing short of miraculous, and we're going to do it. But they have some sizable expenses. So the 1.25 is separate than what the governor has proposed. The governor's proposal is no longer part of the budget that is going forward. So this is a separate amount that is based on a reimbursement mechanism. Every one of these communities are going to have to justify the expense. It's a cap, but I am certain that they're going to have more than enough expenses to hit the cap that's been put in place.
Just to follow up on that, the governor's original proposal to the city of Green Bay, that is now out of the budget completely. It's
It
not
is.
even a negotiating point.
It is out of the budget completely.
And then do you believe that what you're proposing now is going to have support from the governor? And do you see an additional compromise being worked out as the budget negotiations continue to go on?
I believe this is the maximum amount that my colleagues in the Assembly and Senate would be willing to accept. And so I believe the governor has shown his support originally and from the very beginning for the draft in the city of Green Bay and having a great event. So I feel confident with my initial communications with his office already this morning that there'll be support for this. I'm certain that he will find it reasonable that we are basing it on a percent and spreading it across all of our first responders. Can't underscore enough the importance and value that Green Bay Metro Fire Department is providing to the safety of the visitors that are going to be here, as well as our Sheriff's Department and Green Bay and Village of Ashwaubenon's public safety. So, listen, it would be inappropriate to give $1 million to the city of Green Bay and let everyone else on the hook, especially the Village of Ashwaubenon, a community of 15,000 trying to shoulder all these expenses on their own. So while there's still going to be obviously 2/3 of or 1/3 of the expense will still remain under local budgets, it is appropriate to have 2/3. We cannot guarantee a successful draft for the Green Bay Packers, but we can guarantee a safe event for this community. And so that's what we're looking to do.
Maybe a question for Sheriff Dwayne. You can just maybe describe, say, the boots on the ground for the county level. I think we have a good idea of, what it's going to look like with, say, with Ashwaubenon Public Safety and GBPD on the grounds. But maybe what does it kind of look like for you guys, both maybe inside the campus and outside, obviously in other parts of the community, like you said, helping keep everyone safe?
So during the draft, we'll have about 50 deputies working in addition to special resources, and when I mean special skill sets. So when it comes to bomb technicians, explosive dogs, SWAT operators that will be available, probably not seen, but there. We have a lot of different resources that will be there as a contingent for this event, as well as, like I said, about 50 officers on during the operational hours. So as far as at the footprint, we will have presence. Some of it will be pretty obvious. Other portions of it, much like what you would see during a normal football game, there's a big portion of it that you just don't see for a lot of different reasons, but they're there with a purpose, and hopefully something that we don't need, but we're prepared if we need to do that. And then obviously the rest of Brown County continues to go on, whether it's in the Village of Ashwaubenon, who obviously is very, very taxed with their location. There's still calls for service that are going to occur throughout the entire county, whether it's in the city of Green Bay, the Village of Ashwaubenon, or any other municipality, whether it's the Village of Howard or Swamico or Bellevue. There are still calls for service, so our normal operations will continue, and they have to be staffed a little bit heavy because there will be more people at all of the hotels and Airbnbs and other locations throughout the county. So it's similar to a normal football game. I would describe it. It's similar to a Monday night football game, but amplified several degrees, because instead of, let's say, maybe 2 teams in the NFL, Green Bay and another team, you have 32 cities, and that means the entire country and across the world, people have interest in seeing what's going on here in Green Bay and Brown County for the event. So we have prepared for the event. As indicated by Chief Knott, there's resources already deployed for the event as it's building out, much of which is with Green Bay Fire, Metro Fire, to be there for incidents that could occur while building it. So that's pretty much what it looks like. I would say it's amplified to a much higher level than even the closest I can get right now would be a Monday night football game, where it's the only show in the entire country, and you have people throughout the country watching Monday Night Football. Maybe one of very high profile, but then amplify it probably another 32 times or 30 times because of the 30 other cities that have interest in it. So it's similar but amplified.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers your question.
No, that does. Thank you. I think another question for the representatives. Obviously, this is going to go through the budget process. So this is kind of just in a form of a reimbursement in a way. Is that kind of how this is going to work? I know when I'm talking with other lawmakers, it's kind of what they've talked about with this. If it would kind of just be, the entities front the cost for the draft, and they kind of get this money as a reimbursement. Is that?
That's 100% it. So these communities, county, are already incurring these expenses and have for, as mentioned, over a year. And what will be provided is an opportunity for them to submit their expenses for reimbursement. There are specific timeframes involved after the budget is approved that they will have to submit those expenses for reimbursement, and the state will have 60 days to turn around and give them a check. And it's going to be a fast process, an easy process once approved by the legislature and the governor. But the purpose is to ensure that we get that money back to them. And one thing I just want to underscore is there are so many people around the nation who think our community is not up to having this type of event. And I believe we are. And we're going to showcase that next week. Part of that is public safety. And I am incredibly honored to be with these people, and have been for the last year and a half, talking about this incredible event. This will just be the start. Maybe it'll be the only time we'll ever host an NFL draft. But by putting Wisconsin and Brown County in particular on the map as being a place where you can have your premier event regardless of size is something that I am guaranteeing to the people of Wisconsin and this country. We're going to showcase next week.
Could you get into a little bit more of the details of how you came up with that 1.25 number? Break that down a little bit.
Yeah, so the first thing I did was contact the communities in the county, the public safety, the Green Bay Metro, to find out where are your expenses, your estimates as of right now. And so each of them provided estimates as to where they expect to finish in terms of public safety only expenses. And from that, took 2/3 of that, and that's how we developed the bill. It was really that simple. Again, the 2/3 is simply a calculation based on the benefit for Brown County versus the rest of the state. I don't think it'd be appropriate for the state to cover 100% of these expenses because they're not receiving 100% of the benefit. However, are they receiving 2/3 of the economic benefit of this draft? Yes. 100%. And so I always have to, as well as Representative Franklin, when we come up with ideas on things we want to spend money on, we have to justify it to the people of Wisconsin as well as their representatives. So I think it's pretty clear that 2/3 of the economic benefit of this draft is going to be outside of Brown County. And so having those expenses pushed on to the state seems appropriate. Public safety is the #1 responsibility of every government, whether it's local, county, state, federal. And so we have a responsibility to ensure this is going to be a safe event. It's going to happen. We just want a portion of those expenses to be covered by the state.
Is there an itemized breakdown anywhere, like this much is going from this municipality?
Yes, yes. So in the documents, and my staff will have it for you, but it's $500,000 for Brown County. I believe 475 for the city of Green Bay. Green Bay Metro 200,000, and Village of Ashwaubenon 70,000. Any other questions? Okay. We'll all be available for one-on-ones if you want to have that after this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.